wasn't ready. Daddy wasn't perfect. Daddy wasn't perfect, but he showed me how to stand. Life ain't about excuses, it's about becoming a man. Everybody got a story, everybody got some pain. Yeah. Today ain't about the headlines, it's about the mirror. Look, every time another name hit the news, we all choose sides. Point fingers, throw opinions, let the truth hide. Who was right, who was wrong, everybody testify. But nobody asked what happened years before their life. See, I'm searching for the roots, not the branches. Looking past the cameras, past the captions. A generation looking for acceptance, trying to find a home in all the wrong directions. Tell me, is it school? Is it where we stay? Is it who got money? Is it DNA? Is it every door that got slammed in our face? Or somewhere along the line we just lost our way? I'm not here to blame another race. Real love don't come with a color anyway. Real friends don't care what shade your skin. But if you're scared of questions, how we ever gonna win? Look in the mirror, what do you see? A family, or just a community? Searching for love, searching to belong. If home don't feel like home, where do we run? I'm asking questions, I ain't pointing fingers. Pain disappear, but the lesson lingers. If we don't heal what we keep passing on, another generation singing the same old song. It's bigger than one name, bigger than one case, bigger than one city, bigger than one place. Neighborhoods divided, classes separated. Everybody talking, ain't nobody demonstrated. Family got a role, community too. Schools got influence, institutions do. Everybody won't change.
Welcome to The Faceless Father. Today on The Faceless Father, we are not here to sensationalize the tragedy. We're here to ask difficult questions. Because every time something like this happens, we spend days debating the details. Who was right? Who was wrong? Who should have done what? But most importantly, nobody steps back and asks what's happening long before this moment. Today, I want to ask a question. What makes that might make a lot of people uncomfortable? Why do so many Black young people seem to feel more accepted, more comfortable, or more connected in a predominantly white social circles than in their own communities? Not all, not most, but enough that people notice the pattern. It is the opportunity. Is it the opportunity? Is it the environment? Is it the school? Is it sports? Is it the economics? Or have we created a culture where some of our own young people don't feel like they belong? Now, let me be clear. This conversation is not about blaming white people, and it's not about criticizing every interracial friendship. People should build genuine friendships wherever they find them. But if we never ask why certain patterns exist, we'll never understand them. Because this isn't just about Nolan Wells. It's about what his story has caused many people to ask. Why do Black families worry that their children often feel more at home somewhere else than they do in their own community? Have we become so divided by class, by neighborhoods, by schools, by culture, that we no longer recognize each other? And if that's true, what responsibility belongs to families? What belongs to communities? What belongs to institutions? Today isn't about creating more division. It's about pursuing understanding. Because every tragedy should leave us asking deeper questions. Not just about one individual, but about the society that shaped us all. So today, let's take the emotion out of it. Let's put the politics to the side and let's have a conversation that too many people are afraid to have. This is the Faceless Father, so let's talk.
Race looks to have played a part in the teen's death, given that it appears that Wells was the only black friend amongst a group of white friends whom he traveled to the island by boat with.
Black people, stop going on motherfucking vacation with these white folks. Your white friends call you, say, hey, bud, what's up? Hey, you ain't going on vacation? No. Hell no. Because y'all keep going on them vacations, and they keep coming back home, and we can't find you. You got to tell them white people no right now. Not all of them, but some of you got to tell them no. I can't swim why I'm going out there in the ocean for.
According to reports, the group of friends, along with Nolan, would travel to Horn Island, which is the island that sits about 10 miles from mainland Mississippi, to celebrate the 4th of July. Now, while there, the teens, along with others, would enjoy the beach's shore and water. At some point during their time there, an altercation has now been said to have taken place, just before Wells would go missing around 4 p.m. Now, what has raised many people's concerns are why did Nolan's friends leave without him, and what are the details of the altercation? One user on Facebook who shared that she was actually docked next to the boat Nolan was on would go on to note that the altercation took place amongst the friends, and at some point even on the boat they were on. Now, as mentioned, for many, race can't be overlooked, as some would express their lack of trust when it comes with being the only black person in certain settings, and they feel that Wells' disappearance is another example. Now, as people continue to question Nolan's white friends, whom he went to the island with, his black friends and best friend are now responding, explaining why they weren't with him at the time. On Monday, his best friend, Javon Williams, would join several of the peers at the boat dock where officials looked to have brought back Wells' body. There, Williams would speak to local outlets on Herald to give his reaction to the breaking news. According to Williams, he was supposed to be on the same boat with Wells, but it had got filled up and he rode on a different boat. Williams would go on to confirm that he did see Nolan on the island. As soon as we got out there, he told me that he loved me. Williams would also go on to say that he last saw Wells close to 4 p.m. And according to him, along with others, reports seeing Nolan with a girl while amongst their friends. Williams would also go on to share that he would end up leaving his phone with Wells' phone on the same boat in question, but would later retrieve his phone before going home. Now, outside of Williams' response, another friend by the name of Trace Carter would apparently give Nolan a warning to be safe before going to the island. According to Sun Herald, Carter would tell Wells, just hit me up when you get back. Just be careful, bro. Watch out for yourself. And in response, Wells would respond with, I got you. I'll hit you up later. Now, according to that same report, it was also noted that Wells knew how to swim and had took lessons at a YMCA in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, where he lived, raising more concerns for some that foul play may be involved in his death. Back over on social media, Javon would continue reacting to the suspicious death of his friend. Over on TikTok, he would post a tribute to Nolan that read, for all the times you accepted my calls, text me, checked up on me, hung out with me, laughed with me, I love you, brother. Followed by a response to one user who would comment, devastating, in which Javon would say he didn't deserve this shit. Williams would continue his grieving on his Instagram stories with a compilation video of Heat and Wells. Now, when it comes to the friends Wells would travel to the island with, they have been identified by social media users. However, it does appear that they have decided to remain quiet on their social pages, with each of them having their Instagram pages on private. Now, upon looking over Wells' Instagram page, this was not the first time he would jump on a boat with friends, as he posted previous adventures of himself on a boat with a similar group of people.
And I'm sorry, but the whole, well, I thought he got on another boat. I didn't realize he was missing. Yeah, that's not sitting right with me, because what do you mean you let your friend just get on a random ass fucking boat? And everybody's in the comments like, oh, well, we boat hop. This is normal. Nobody thought to go with him. And if it was 4th of July weekend and people were drinking and you saw that your friend was drinking, may or may not have been drinking, why would you allow him to get on a boat if you weren't with them? And don't get me wrong, I've been on a boat. I know cell service is shit. Most people leave their phone on dry land because, shit be flipping over. But if he was getting on another boat and you knew that there was no other way to contact him, again, why would you not get on the same fucking boat? And it'd be different and all the boats were just docked in one little area and you guys were just swimming and, you saw in and out. But again, this just is not sitting right. And then y'all didn't realize he was missing until it was time for you guys to go home. Like, y'all didn't sit here and think, oh, well, shit, where is he? Where could he have been? Why is he not back yet? We're taking shots and he's not here to take shots with. Where's my boy at? Like, y'all don't sit here and ask these kind of questions. Like, there's a rule. If you came with me, you're leaving with me. Like, I brought you here. I'm taking you home. You guys don't live by that shit.
Nobody knows what happened to Nolan. Nobody remembers what happened. He went into the woods with a girl and we don't know what happened. So why did y'all leave him? Because I needed to be known that the one fact that we got for sure is they didn't report that baby missing until they got back home. They didn't call when they were getting ready to pack up the boat and come back home and realize, hey, we can't find Nolan. We'll be looking for him for an hour. Come help us find him. They didn't report it until they got back home.
So the same thing that happened to Nolan Wells almost happened to me. I think I was like 22 years old working at Texas Roadhouse. You know what I mean? Young, silly. Forgot a couple of the things that my granddaddy told me when I was growing up. I thought these people were my friends. Another lesson my grandparents taught me when I was younger is that you don't have any friends. You know what I mean? You really do not. Like, my siblings were always my friends, and I learned that. At any rate, I signed up to go on this, little trip with these people. They let us know, okay, so we're gonna get up on the bank right here, and then we're gonna go see the waterfall. So I'm like, oh, okay. So, but what we gonna do at the waterfall? You know what I mean? Because I'm vibing, but at the same time, I'm not stupid. And they was like, we're just gonna look at sit there, light a fire, smoke some more, drink some more. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we get to the little spot where we pull up the canoes, we anchor them off and whatnot. And then they tell us, okay, so this little piece of water right here, we got to swim across that to get to the waterfall. So I get halfway through the water and I realize that, and I'm losing my strength slowly but surely. And at this point in time, I am calling out for help. No music is playing at this time. You know what I mean? None. Yeah, everybody was rambunctious, excited, whatever, but you could clearly hear me out there in the woods. It's still daylight. So I'm screaming that I can't make it. Somebody please help me. They turn around, several of them look at me, say, you can do it. Come on, let's go. And they continue to walk off. At this point in time, I have already said my prayers and have already decided that I'm going to meet my maker. I scream one more time, I am going to drown. And I went down. I don't know can't remember who was and what just made them decide to change their mind and come back. But one person jumped in that water, grabbed me, pulled me up onto the bank. And mind you, they didn't do anything else after that and continued on their way. As young Black children, the same lesson that I'm sure you're telling all your children now, do not be the only one. And it really doesn't matter how people feel about that, because the concern is preservation of life. So for some reason, God saw fit to not allow me to lose my life that day. And for some reason, God called Nolan home. So I will say that despite what anybody feels about how you feel about the situation, please have that conversation with your children. And that's all I'm gonna say. Rest in peace, Nolan Wells, and to his entire family.
According to Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter, who would speak when Wells' body was found, the case will be handled like any other cases, with a thorough investigation.
Number one, give the family space and time. They are still processing this tragic event, and all of Nolan's close friends. I'll assure you that the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, we're looking at this whole case just like we would any other case, and we're going to be as thorough as we can.
Now, as far as Nolan's family, they have set up a GoFundMe for all those wanting to show support after Wells' sudden passing. An autopsy has been scheduled to be performed today to help provide more answers. Let's talk about them in the comments below. Now that we've heard from Nolan's other friends, does it leave you with more questions? And what should happen next?
So welcome in everyone to the Faceless Father. That video I thought was a very great video to sum up how a lot of people may be looking at things, how a lot of people may be discussing this situation when it comes to Nolan Wells. We have discussed this conversation on multiple platforms so far, but I wanted to tell you guys the truth why Nolan Wells is no longer with us. And for those who weren't here for the intro to this video, I want to read it one more time to you guys, and I'm going to start somewhere midway. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I want to read something that really stands out. Today, I want to ask a question that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Why do so many Black young people seem to feel more comfortable, more accepted, and more connected in a predominantly white social circle than in their own communities? And I think that is the question that we must start asking ourselves today. I heard a lot of people who have all the reasons why you're Black, you should never go out to this island with a bunch of white people. I even seen another white man that said the dangers of hanging out with white wealthy people. So we have all this preconceived notions of white people. We have made the Nolan Wells case a race issue, which it is. But we also haven't started to turn around and look at ourselves and our own communities. So I'm going to ask you guys this question one more time in a different manner. Or I'm going to give you a statement, better yet. When a child feels more understood by strangers than they do by their own community, the question isn't who welcomed them, it's why they felt the need to leave. And I think that is the true question we have with the Nolan Wells story today. Why did Nolan Wells only have a few black friends? Why did this young man who seemed to be very educated, very athletic, very handsome, very intriguing, easy to talk to, looks like he had great relationships with the two black friends that he did have, why did Nolan Wells have to go seek more verification, more confirmation from a group that did not look like him? And where do we start? His father was black. His mother is Asian. Do we not feel that he's seen both sides of the spectrums? He has an Asian family that he probably visits every year. He has his African American side that he visits every year. But we have to start asking ourselves, is the true reason why Nolan Wells is no longer with us today is because he chose a group that accepted Nolan for who Nolan was? This is something that we see oh so often, even when we are talking on platforms, when we're talking about content. The black man who has the common sense is called a coon. He's Uncle Sam, Uncle Tom. He's working for the man. You're under the thumb. There's all these analogies that we give another black person when they don't see things the way we see them, when we don't accept the norms in the society that you want us to accept. We even have people who say people fighting police officers is something that we should normalize, or that we should feel like it's already was coming down the pipeline. So I want to ask everyone a question today. When will we hold ourselves accountable for those who look like us, who chose not to be around us? Are we the issue? Are we the problem? Are we the real concern? I feel the truth today in my heart that Nolan Wells is no longer with us because of those who wouldn't accept Nolan Wells. He had to find a crowd that chose him. Even though that crowd didn't look like him, even though that crowd might be responsible for him no longer being with us, he felt the need to leave a community and choose another one. Do we ever sit back to ask ourselves why? Do we ever question, did I treat this person wrong? Did I not fully start to understand this individual? Was he raised by a black father who doesn't see race? Probably so if his wife's Asian. Is the father to blame here today? Who do we blame? Who do we blame when our children, our fans, our friends are now ostracized because they can't be accepted by those who they really truly want to be accepted by? But the moment they're no longer with us, we blame those who they chose to be with. Welcome in, Miss Mario. Mario said, I think a lot of interracial people are outcast by both sides at times. You're either too black or too Asian, and they feel like outsiders and cling to the people that accept him for him. And I agree with that, man. I agree. And that's why I wanted to bring a different perspective to this today. It's the truth that Nolan Wells is no longer with us is because those who look like him chose not to be a part of his life. We hear a saying every day that says, go where you're celebrated and not where you're tolerated. And I feel in today's society, a lot of African Americans who are choosing to live their life the best way possible are starting to feel more tolerated by their peers than accepted by their peers. You're not black enough. You don't understand the struggle. The black people want to hear this. If you do not want to be held accountable, that is not a race issue. If you lack accountability, that's a self issue. And again, I'm telling you guys, everybody, I understand, even on other platforms, even I mentioned this, race does play a role in this. I get it. But why did Nolan choose those friends? Because if you watch all the TikToks and videos that his black friend put up, he said Nolan was one of the nicest, one of the most friendliest people that he ever been friends with. He said he missed him deeply. He had nothing but positive things to say about him. But only a select few got to know him. And why is that? Do we blame Nolan for going outside of his comfort zone to pick those who chose him? Or do we ever take a moment to look at ourselves and ask ourselves why? This is one of the videos. Watch this. This is Nolan friend putting up a TikTok.
Continue reacting to the suspicious death of his friend. Over on TikTok, he will post a tribute to Nolan that read, "For all the times you accepted my calls, text me, checked up on me, hung out with me, laughed with me. I love you, brother."
So, and I'm going to stroll back. We don't have to hear it again, but I'm going to stroll back to show you guys something. Sometimes you could tell the way someone dresses, the way someone speaks to each other. Acceptance is everything. You know how hard it is to go through the world being put down by those who look like you, knowing that you're only trying to give them the best version of you? This young man literally said, for all the times you accepted my phone calls, not picked up, accepted my phone calls, text me, checked up on me, hung out with me, laughed with me. I love you, brother. That language right there tells you the type of person that Mr. Nolan was. He was a great friend. He was a great individual. Not saying he was perfect. Not saying that he probably never got in some skirmishes with people. But we have to ask ourselves today, why did Mr. Nolan not have more of us that he had to reach around? I know a lot of you guys are going to say it's proximity. A lot of you guys are going to say that's what he chose. But will we ever look at ourselves to understand that we never made ourselves a valuable asset or a valuable choice? Not even valuable, available choice. So we're going to move on to this next and last segment of Faceless Father today. And I titled this one, Our Own Worst Enemies. So here we go.
First bullying that I have ever experienced was from BOK people. I have went to 2 different schools. I have went to an all white T school and I have went to an all BOK school. And when I say BOK people are real life bullies, y'all are mean as hell. Y'all are always in competition with the next person. Like when I went to a white T school, they didn't care about what shoes you had on. They also didn't care about what kind of clothes you had on. Like they didn't just sit there all day whispering and, "Boo, what you looking at?" or calling me bald headed. I didn't start experiencing that until I went to an all BOK school. The girls were literally the meanest. Like they would sit over there, look at me, call me all types of names for no reason. And mind you, I wasn't the type of girl that would start stuff. Like I was really a cool ass girl. But y'all want to know what's funny? Like I look back on the girls that I went to elementary school with. And it's a couple of girls that I went to elementary school. There's one girl in particular. Like her friend was my friend. And like this bitch would literally sit over there and just talk about me for no reason. Like she was the meanest girl in like my 5th grade class. She would literally sit over there and just talk shit. Like I just never understood like why she never liked me, nor do I give a care. Because I look back at especially some of the females or some of the people that used to talk shit about me back in elementary school just to see how they doing. And a lot of their ass is not doing good at all. Like them bitches is really not doing good. But it just makes me laugh when I think about like, damn, like how mean BOK people be. Y'all be saying it's YT people or, oh, they always saying this about us and all they always say. I have never experienced any type of out of the world type of shit from YT people. I promise you I haven't. Only BOK people. Y'all want to.
So there you have it. There's a young lady speaking about her experience. We can't take her experience and not accept it. It's her experience. It's her reality. And I think there's a lot more people who are going to be watching this video, watching this live, watching it on the rewatch, who have felt the same way. Something as simple as what shoes you wear. Something as simple as what clothes you wear. Just last year, there were mothers going broke to buy their kids book bags. I forgot the brand of the book bags, but there was a book bag that everybody in the Black community had to have. If you didn't have that, you didn't have money. Or you'll see kids walking in with the latest Jordans on, and mom's in the system and things all of that nature. And even if you read some of these comments, Jazz Love Bonet 1985 said in her comments, I used to think like that until I realized that it had more to do with the people I was around than the color. I went to both white and Black schools. The first Black school I went to, people was bullies and shallow. Then when I transferred to another Black school, they were total opposite. I also went to a white schools. The same thing was very much bully tease. The other one, I made friends for life. This experience taught me it's not about Black or white. It's more about the character of the person. So there you have it. You have even more multiple views of it, right? But he did experience bullying from his peers. Just imagine if he never got the other experience. We don't know what experience Mr. Nolan received. We don't know why we're in some of our predicaments. We don't know why we're handling things some of the way that we do. And even then you have things like this, people who would discount your experience. As someone who experienced both, I think Black people just say it to your face. White people say it behind your back, but put me in the mixed school any day. So some people just have different experiences, right? But I really feel today that the truth that Nolan's no longer with us is because he didn't have enough of us. If we want things to change in today's society, we must be the change that others are looking for. We must be the person that stands out amongst our peers. We must look the part. We have to be the one that person wants to be around. And I have a quote for you here. It says, a society reveals its greatest weaknesses not by who it leaves, but by never asking why they want it to. And we never ask each other that question. We never ask a person, why do they feel the way they feel? Why do they have a strong belief on why they look at things this way? Instead of asking the question why, we start to judge. We start to provide our own narrative. And I want to challenge everyone today who gets the opportunity to watch this, even if you're watching it on the rewatch. I appreciate Rain. I appreciate Miss Mario that are in the chat. I appreciate you all. But if you guys can spread this around to one person, put it in your story. I really want to know, will we ever take accountability for those who we lose that look like us because we didn't accept who they were? We could continue to play the race game, or we can continue to become a better race for each other. Are we here to pick sides, or are we here to bring those who look like us along with us? You put us in the worst environments, we team up. You put us in environments where we have options, we choose the lesser of the evil. And that's very unique to me. In slavery time, since everybody likes to go back to slavery, you know, and then you think about the Willie Lynch letter, right? He said that you won't ever have to control the African American. You would never have to tame the African American. You know why? Because the African Americans will divide themselves. He said they would start to fight over their color. They would start judging. They would start judging each other by who's light skinned, who's dark skinned. All these things were said that every day they're becoming more true. Every day. The letter that he made, it was called The Making of a Slave. He introduced all this. He introduced all this. We only use history when we want to degrade something, when we want to make sure that the other person looks a certain way, but we never use history when it tells us what to look out for. I'm going to read you guys a part of the Willie Lynch. It says, on the top of my list is age, but it is there only because it starts with the A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, size, plantation status, attitude of owners, whether the slave lives in the valley, on the hill, east, west, north, or south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall and short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of the actions. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulteration or respect or admiration. The black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become half self-refueling and half self-generation for hundreds of years or maybe more. So just think about that. It says the cardinal principles for making a Negro. For fear that our future generations may not understand the principles of breaking both horse and man, we lay down the art. For if we are to sustain our basic economy, we must break and tie both of the beasts together, the inward and the horse. We understand that short-range planning and economic results in periodic chaos, so that to avoid turmoil in the economy, it requires us to have breadth and depth in long-range comprehensive planning, articulation, both sides, skills, and sharp perception. We lay down the following principles. So they looked at the Black community as economics. Us dividing against each other on these topics every day on platforms, this is all part of the plan. For us not to be able to agree to disagree was all part of the plan. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine reading a document that already told you what you were going to be doing to each other, and we still do it to this day? Maria said they fight and pick on each other, so I feel that the other races pick up on it too. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. And I really want people to understand today. I wanted to make this live today just to look at it from a different angle, right? We all now know that Nolan Wells is no longer with us. But now we have to ask the question, was there ever a moment where we could have stopped and did something different? Could we have made a different impression on Nolan Wells? And when I say we, I'm just speaking of Black individuals. And on this side of the token, on the Faceless Father production, I want us as men to start thinking more strategically. I want us to be more of an example of what society should look like. And I want us to understand what's really going on. There are tons of biracial boys in the world today who are going to have some of these same struggles. They're going to pick the lesser of the evil. And will you be the lesser of the evil, or would they have to pick someone that doesn't look the same skin tone as them? These are very hard and critical conversations, especially if you're one of those parents who are possibly going to experience this. And then before I leave you guys, I want you guys to understand that I don't challenge our race. I challenge our thinking process. I challenge the way that we only look at things from one lens. We only get outraged for one reason. And that's normally for race, so that we can divide ourselves even further. But the biggest thing that I want to tell you guys today is that if we don't start asking ourselves this question, we're going to be in a very, 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 very tough situation. So I'll leave you with this before I leave you with a song. It says, before we ask where our young people are going, We should ask why they no longer believe they belong. Let me read that one more time to you. Before we ask where our young people are going, we should ask, why do they no longer believe they belong? I feel we are now living in a society today where we are choosing to feel more wanted than anything. And if people don't feel accepted, they'll never stay around. So just wanted to leave you guys with that today. And before I head out, Ms. Rain said, I'm not looking forward to those conversations, but it must be talked about. Very true. Very true, man. And don't forget, guys, you always have the Faceless Father here, and I will be continuing to put out more and more of this content. And I want you guys to truly remember that there's always more to the story. So I appreciate you guys, and I'm going to play a song called There Is No One Talking.
Yeah. Today ain't about the headlines. It's about the mirror. Look, every time another name hit the news, we all choose sides. Point fingers, throw opinions, let the truth hide. Who was right, who was wrong, everybody testify. But nobody asked what happened years before their life. See, I'm searching for the roots, not the branches. Looking past the cameras, past the captions. A generation looking for acceptance. Trying to find a home in all the wrong directions. Tell me, is it school? Is it where we stay? Is it who got money? Is it DNA? Is it every door that got slammed in our face? Or somewhere along the line we just lost our way? I'm not here to blame another race. Real love don't come with a color anyway. Real friends don't care what shade your skin. But if you're scared of questions, how we ever gonna win? Look in the mirror, what do you see? A family, or just a community? Searching for love, searching to belong. If home don't feel like home, where do we run? I'm asking questions I ain't. Daddy wasn't perfect. Daddy wasn't bad. Daddy wasn't perfect. Daddy wasn't perfect, but he showed me how to stand. Life ain't about excuses, it's about becoming a man.